I will go to YouTube, share this on Twitter. Dun, dun. Shit. There we go. Alrighty, so that's done. All right, cool. Okay, so let me pull up. Damn, my phone just keeps buzzing. I need to get it farther away. So, can you hear it when it buzzes?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just set this.
Unless that's my phone, but I doubt that you'd be talking about it and my phone would be coincidentally doing it at the same time.
Let me try to just put it on silent. Actually, I put on airplane mode. I don't know how to do that on my iPhone yet. Shit. Well, do not disturb will do. Okay. So let's start with that Senate bill for the hate crimes. Okay. All right. You ready to rock and roll? All right. Bam. What up, Yang Gang? Welcome back. Today is the 23rd of April. You know, we're going to try and do some more live streaming the news again, you know. So what do you got on us? Blah, fucking blah. Okay, let's try that again. So what you got on us the low for today, Mia?
Today we're going to talk about how the Senate is passing has passed a hate crime bill amidst a wave of violence against Asian Americans.
Yes.
The measure was approved in a 94-1 vote, and the only person who didn't vote for it was Senator Josh Hawley, who is earning quite the reputation already. It was introduced by Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii in March, and it would direct the Department of Justice to expedite the review of hate crimes related to COVID-19 reported to law enforcement agencies, amongst other things.
Yeah, Josh Hawley, you win the Asshole of the Day award. How do you not pass this? What is your freaking problem? Like, are you okay with hate crimes? I don't get it. Like, what?
If I remember correctly, he's one of the ones who was like cheering them on outside of the.
He did the fist in the air bullshit on the way into Congress.
So yeah, he's pro hate crimes, I guess.
A little too pro. Jesus, he's not even like trying to hide it. This motherfucker's hateful. So the big, and it also goes on this thing. It says it would establish ways to report such incidences online and perform public outreach. Also, it would direct the Attorney General and the Department of Health and Human Services to assist or to issue guidance and on mitigating racially discriminatory language and describing the pandemic. I don't know about that's okay. So what's that mean? How to
like
call it Asian virus or whatever, China virus stuff.
China virus. I'm sure Wuhan flu is in there as well.
Yeah, right.
Thing to avoid.
So just language. Okay, that doesn't really mean anything, but all right. Well, it does. You know, it is a factor. You know, in the Asian hate crimes. And it says the vote comes after Schumer urged Republicans not to block debate on the legislation. The House Judiciary Committee marked up a similar version of the bill introduced by Republican Grace Meng, Yang Gang, a Democrat in New York on Wednesday. And Pelosi, of course, said it'll receive a floor vote. And the House and Senate will have to reconcile both bills so they pass the same version to be signed by President Biden. Yeah, so the Senate had their own version. And now the House makes one, and they're going to kind of, I don't know, do a little dance.
They have to fuse them together through ancient magics over a pile of sacrificed lambs.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're in the same building. Do it beforehand. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's much cleaner if you plan for the sacrifice first. You're right.
Yeah, so it's just one of these things where there should be no hate crimes that are, you know, I mean, again, you have Howley who said no, thank you. I like it the way it is, which I don't know. Excuse me, I don't know. But
I'm
yeah,
sure he
he's
has some dance around explanation. I just didn't bother to see what it is. When it's 94-1, no matter what your explanation is, it's kind of pretty obvious it's woefully insufficient.
well. Where are the other 5 votes? Wasn't it 99-1? You know,
I think some people just weren't there, maybe.
but they can vote by proxy too. You know, so I don't know how that works, but
Or they abstained.
which is even more fucked up. You're paid to vote, vote, asshole. That's why I got mad at Tulsi for not voting. Just say yes or no. You can't say, nah, I don't know. I'm staying the sidelines for this one. You're getting paid $174,000 a year. Do your fucking job, you know. But yeah, there's a quote here too by Chuck Schumer. He goes, "Racism has always existed in America, unfortunately, and the legacy of anti-Asian sentiment goes back centuries to dark chapters in our history, like the Chinese Exclusion Act and the internment of Japanese citizens during World War II." And then he goes on to say, "Now we've made great strides since those days, but over the past several years, the forces of hate and bigotry seem to have gained strength. Too often encouraged by our former president. By passing this bill, the Senate makes it very clear that hate and discrimination against any group has no place in America. Bigotry against one is bigotry against all, except for when it comes to Howley." I just can't get over that.
It would be, I guess now that you're asking, it would be interesting to see what his response was specifically to that. I'm sure somebody confronted him on it. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Well, I'm going to actually pull up a tweet that I had ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. Where's the Twitter thingy? There it is. So, I've been following this group here on Twitter. Come on, asshole. There it goes. So there's a Twitter handle called Run for Something. I've been following them for a little bit. They're all about getting people to run. And they had a panel discussion with Grace Meng in New York, Francesca Hong of Wisconsin, and Tram Nguyen. Is I saying that right? Nguyen?
I think it's Nguyen.
Nguyen. And she's out of, where's that at? Oh, Massachusetts. And then Priya Patel, and she's out of, I'm not sure where she is. Carlsbad council member. So it must be a city official and a health professional. Okay. So you had this panel with the AAPI women and these 2 white guys. And I was going to try and go back and watch it. I just haven't time. But they have a pretty good little thread here going on with some quotes. And I suggest you guys go check these out. And it shows their little individual comments on it. But it's a pretty good thing to follow. Again, it's at Run for Something. I really like these people because they're encouraging people to run, you know. And then there's this one I like right here. It says, "Final question for at the front row seat. What gives you hope right now?" And Francesca says youth leadership. Team Tran says increase civic engagement, particularly in the AAPI community. And Priya says youth leadership and increase in young people in elected office, which I really think that's a big deal. But we're missing. Why aren't there 4? Oh, there's only 3 people in it. Okay. But yeah, that's something I noticed on Twitter with this thing, researching it, and this someone that I followed that was a pretty good panel. You guys should check them out too.
Absolutely. That does sound interesting. I found an article from The Hill about Holly, a name that is starting to be hard for me to say without physical reaction.
So what was his excuse here?
Holly, a potential 2024 presidential contender, oh God, no, called the bill too broad. As a former prosecutor, my view is it's dangerous to simply give the federal government open-ended authority to define a whole new class of federal hate crime incidents, he said in a statement. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just that sounds like pure bullshit to me because nobody else seemed to have a problem with it. What makes you so special, Mr. Howley? You turd. But that's what it is. Oh, let me put our banner up down here too.
That's his dance around excuse. We all know that it's
Yeah,
just
just
a
pure
reason not
bullshit.
to.
Yep.
I think part of it might be that he doesn't want it to be seen as condemning Trump's
Right.
behavior towards the Asian American community during his presidency and
Well,
his.
because his speech would be considered hate speech.
Mhm.
Like his whole speech, an actual entire speech. I don't know. They call it Hong Kong, fluey and all that bullshit, fucking hate speech. That's hate speech and incites violence.
So my guess is that he sees himself as running in 2024 as Trump's ideological successor. And
Yeah.
in order to do that, he can't be seen as embracing this anti-Asian hate.
Well, and what it is you if you become 94-1, you become that alt-right, the fuck you vote to the left. So him and DeSantis in Florida are trying to lick the boots the hardest. Who can get the most, you know, orange spray tan on their tongue competition. And Howley's leading this stupid ass vote. But yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Well, it's the only explanation I can see for why you would not want to be on the signing end of this one.
Mm-hmm. Historically, he's wrong, and I don't think, man, he's got to be primary, man. That's pretty messed up. 94-1. I don't know who the 5 that didn't vote should be there though. But yeah, so let me think. What was I gonna say? Let me go back to the article. I remember there's something else I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, Tammy Duckworth. Where'd it go? Shoot. Oh man, sorry. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, it wasn't an article. Must have been when I was looking at something earlier. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comments section. What excuse do you think Holly really has? If you do, put it in the comments. I'd like to hear what you guys think, why he's doing it, and is he justified to stand up against it? Is it too broad? Are the other 99 people in the Senate wrong? Which I doubt it. But yeah, while you're here, go give the video a like and leave us a comment what you think is right or wrong about Howley specifically. I want to focus on that asshole and bring awareness to how really, really detrimental this guy is to us. If this isn't a no-brainer, I don't know what is. This a layup? Do the right thing. But yeah, he doesn't. He chooses not to. He'd rather lick he'd lick all the enamel off of Trump's teeth if he'd let him, which is kind of gross.
Yummy enamel. What does?
Yes.
No, I don't even want to.
That don't let it go. Just let it go. It's a bad idea on my part. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. And like always, gang gang. There it is. Okay. So that's messed up, man. Oh man, what an asshole.
On a different note, that is one of the more overwhelming votes we have gotten. So at least it's not controversial. He's the outlier. It's not controversial. That's the good news.
Yeah. And so let's do this Skid Row, this federal judge one. Let me bring up LA. There it is. What's this? CNN? I don't like CNN's website at all. See, you sons of bitches. Okay, so I got that ready. All right, you ready? Okay. Bam. What up, Yang Gang? Welcome back. Mia Dunford. I always want to say Songbird. I still, because of your Twitter handle. I'll just say Mia. It's just easier. So yeah, welcome back. Mia and I are back for more. What do you got on the lowest for us today?
Today, we're going to be discussing how all the homeless people in Los Angeles are going to have to be offered housing by fall, according to a judge, and specifically Skid Row. That's bad.
It's the entire county though.
Yeah, the phrasing was bad there. I want to start over.
That's okay. Yeah.
Today, we're going to be talking about the homeless problem on Skid Row and how a judge has ordered that everyone there needs to be provided housing by fall. On Tuesday, a federal judge ordered all homeless people living in Los Angeles must be offered housing by October 18th, to be specific. The order comes in response to a federal lawsuit filed last year by several citizens, business owners, and community leaders. And they argue that officials failed to address the homeless crisis in Los Angeles, which I think would be an understatement.
Yeah. And I think I saw somewhere there's 66,000 homeless people in Los Angeles County. Now I'm curious about the October 18th date. That's kind of an odd day to pick, but they have their reasons, I guess. And it says unaccompanied women and children must be offered housing within 90 days, though, as well.
So there are extra special circumstances for people who are of particularly vulnerable class.
Yeah. Well, then you got the mayor says it's unprecedented pace. Mayor Eric Garcetti announcing his budget for the next fiscal year. He vowed to dedicate $1 billion towards homelessness. He also had no comment of the order before fully understanding how the judge envisions the timeline successfully happening. So
I think that's kind of a fair thing to say because it's a big ask, right? That's a lot of people.
Yeah, but $1 billion. Let's do the math on that. Let me get out my handy dandy phone here with my calculator. Okay, $1 billion. 1 billion. Wait, it won't go that high. Shit. Okay, let me go down to just 1 million. I'll just make it times 10. Divided by 6,600. So add 3 zeros. That's $15,000 per homeless person. So it's that easy to solve, guys. Think about that. $1 billion in a city like Los Angeles County that has more revenue than 5 states. They can solve homelessness with $1 billion, 15 grand. And I believe you can build a tiny home for 10 grand each. But I'm sure you could order them for a massive discount if you order 66,000 of them.
And if you have a few of them set up on lots and you have it nicely taken care of, you can get it suited up with solar power so that it's not taxing on the electric system or requiring them to constantly pay out bills on top of that. You can work a whole lot of systems in so that it's net neutral for them. They can live there free, but have basic amenities.
Yeah, that's a good point about the whole electric grid. Yeah. But what I don't want to see is we take 66,000 people, haul them up, and stick them somewhere out of the way. I think, this is an outsider's version of this, but there should be like small groups everywhere of like maybe 200 here, 200 there, almost like little parks for the homelessness. And then there's also a lot of abandoned warehouses and stuff all over the place, right? Shut down businesses. Maybe that might be a better idea of just upgrade the insides of these places and renovate them. You can house like 1,000 people in one place. You can have a big old solar grid on top of that roof of a building or something. And then also have a bus route dedicated to go there that's free of charge, is covered by the citizens to allow for transportation to get back and forth to a job, give them a physical address. They can accept mail, get their stimulus checks, and actually do something with it. But I do like the idea of a solar panel and maybe even like geothermal heat, which I don't think they need a lot of heat. It's more about air. So air conditioning is going to be a humdinger. But I'm sure it can be done with $1 billion.
Well, if you're designing the community around the idea too, you can do a lot towards building it in a way that air conditioning is less necessary in the first place. By angling the buildings certain ways, by positioning things correctly, using specific materials, working with the airflow that exists. So there's a lot that can be done if you're planning ahead of time for things like that.
Well, I think it is kind of rushed to say, okay, you got until October 18th. You can't even build a facility that fast. Like, it's not physically possible. Or do they just have to have the plan in place and enacted? You know what I mean? Like, started.
Well, it says that they have to be offered housing. It doesn't say that they have to be given permanent housing. So my assumption would be the judge is assuming there's going to be some form of temporary housing between as they find more permanent solutions.
Then that place, just buy up a whole damn trailer park. Trailers are pretty inexpensive. Just buy a bunch of damn trailers and make a trailer park, a homeless encampment trailer park. Again, I don't want to see all these people scooped up and stuck away where they're so far away from employment they can't get to a job. But I think
I prefer the tiny homes. It's a little bit more dignified. It's
privacy too.
Yeah, and it's also something that people can transition in and out of a little bit more easily. Like with a mobile home like that, you would expect there's some sort of ownership involved in that. If you're doing like a tiny home community, you can have the lots be part of the area. And if you are capable of getting on your feet and you leave, that space can be open for somebody else. With a trailer, there's a lot more tendency to, I don't know. They're very
well, and then you got to put a bunch of shit in there that nobody has furniture. You could have the furniture built into the tiny home. I do like the idea of a tiny home, like a 2-story one. I do like that. I'm a pro tiny home guy anyway. But it's better than on the streets, and they have facilities. That's the big thing, is people taking a shit on the sidewalk, because in San Francisco they charge you to use the bathrooms. Well, then, all right, we're going to shit right outside the door. Then what are you going to do? You can't take away people's dignity like that. If you're going to take away our dignity, I would be undignified.
That's awful.
I'd drop a deuce right on the door handle. Like, now what? If you just let me come in, it'd been fine. But you want to make a scene? Then all right, let's make a scene, But I think this is where our government should be going towards, is doing more programs like this. Say, let's actually put money to it. $1 billion is a lot of money. 66,000 people is a lot. I think LA is the first place. I think San Fran should be next. They got enough resources. So
I definitely agree. And one of the reasons why, or one of the things they're planning on doing is going to lead into our next thing. So I don't want to touch on it too much, but there is a basic income experiment being put on there. That's what funds from the billion.
See, that's what I was thinking of, is if you build the tiny home community and you have solar doing all the electric, and then also Wi-Fi should be included. They should all have access to the internet. Then you can give them a basic income. They can buy a computer and a cell phone and actually start an online business or a business amongst each other. Create our own little ecosystem. Like, okay, what do we need? We need blah, 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 whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them basically building a little mini library in the area, so that there's public access computers for people just entering. And if you had a community that was built around transitioning from homelessness to something more stable, then you could provide all sorts of resources, as long as there's an agreement that's signed before they get in that's going to be cared for properly.
Well, and you could also set up with some of the nonprofits for mental health screening, for healthcare, for classes on how to budget. Help people. Help people. It's just not that hard. Look at all their, and then take a survey. What's your biggest hurdle to get out of here, to get your own apartment, to get your own house? Do you want to move? Do you want to move out of here?
And that is also an important thing, because a lot of these people who are homeless because they have no support network and because they aren't capable of taking care of their own situations. So we do need people going in there and finding people who need a little extra help.
Yeah.
And getting them into something more permanent that is more assisted, rather than expecting them to find their way on their own perfectly.
I would love to see someone that's an entrepreneur in that area, if they get this thing done up properly, like an actual community with tiny homes, and say, okay, I'm going to start a business where I hire only here. You know what I mean? And try and, okay, you guys talk a big talk. Do you really want to engage? and support this business. I'm going to start a restaurant ran by nothing, 100% from the homeless community, and we're going to cook you food, clean your tables, wait your tables, do an actual restaurant or something like that. You know what I mean? Or
all salary pay, so that way everybody can depend on everything.
That's right. And then you gotta cultivate the social norms and say, hey, we need these people to be productive, to have them get dignity and I don't want to say purpose. That's speaking too much to like the work. You got to have work to be productive, but a sense of purpose, because some people, that's what they want. They just want a job. Some people don't. Some people just have other issues.
Might find purpose in caring for the tiny community so that other people can come take advantage of it who are in the same position.
Yeah. You might have someone that wants to, you know what, something else. This could be an opportunity for even like instead of if there's a basic income, also like a jobs guarantee program for them. Make this our job. A nonprofits go out there and going to find them work and then help them arrange transportation, You know, like that'd be I would love to be a part of something like that. I mean, talk about a rewarding thing to see 66,000 people get jobs.
Yeah, transitional communities, I think, would be really important.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for homeless people, also for people just getting off of parole, particularly if we're going to continue to have that sort of thing questioned about on applications and such.
Yeah.
Like we need transitional communities for people who are not accepted in certain aspects of society, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or just into the world of business where, you know, you got 100 applicants for 5 jobs. The first thing you do is look at criminal history. That makes your job a lot easier. Just filter them out. Bam. Here's the one that have no criminal history. And that's what's, you know, pretty unforgiving about that system. I know it's fair because if you're a business owner, do you want someone who has a history of stealing from the businesses they work for? You know, do you want violent offenders who beat up their wife? You know, I don't think so.
But that's we don't have a system in place for people to be able to recoup their reputation either. So that second chance is provided.
Well, to me, I think when you serve your time and you go through, like you go to house arrest, you go to parole, and you serve your entire probation, no incidents, it should be expunged from your record. Then you can be employable to me.
There are certain crimes where that obviously is not going to be possible.
Non-violent. Let me rephrase that. Non-violent crimes.
Yeah. So there's still and those people do have a right to try and re-enter society, but I do think that that's where the transitional community is separate from again comes into play. Like I understand if you've been a sexual predator in the past and you've taken pills and you're like self-castrated and you want to get back into society, you still need a place to live, right?
Self-castrated?
Huh?
Self-castrated?
Chemically castrated.
Whoa.
It's a thing that if you are in that position, if you want to be sure you're never going to offend again and you're actually serious about it, can.
Yeah, but you don't need a sexual organ to inflict harm on people and be a predator.
It's about dampening urges in general. Like it's not like it's a thing you can do.
Yeah.
This is kind of a different subject. I don't expect this will make it to the main thing, but
right.
But the point is, you know, everybody needs a place to live once they're put on the streets. Putting them under a bridge makes them more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have places. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have places where people who are no longer in the prison system can transition and have a real chance, no matter what the crime, as long as they are doing it with good faith.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is an opportunity to have continued care once you're out of prison, where you have counseling available. You have resources available. You have access to a library. You have access to resources. In jail, you have more resources than you do out of jail. Give people a reason to not go to jail, man. Like, okay, you get out of jail. Now we're going to transition you. We're going to set you up with this counselor at this community. You know, it's a transition. So I think this is a huge opportunity. I can't wait to see what this looks like in LA, man. It's a good opportunity to see what people can actually do when they don't have a choice. You have to do something about this right now. $1 billion, 15 grand per person, 10 grand for the tiny homes. That leaves you 5 grand per person to do the infrastructure part of it, you know? So that's hundreds of millions of dollars left over to manage this situation. you know. And again, I think it's all about working together, community with activists that want to do nonprofits and stuff like that to help these people transition. Like I said, mental health, substance abuse counseling, all that stuff. And access to electric, internet, Wi-Fi, the whole 9 yards. I think it'd be huge. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about this in the comments section. This is a big deal. I'm actually going to be following this a little bit more intently myself. September or October 18th is not that far away. If you're in charge of $1 billion, you got a federal mandate coming down. So I'm sure they're scurrying to make things happen. But they got 6 months. You know, I mean, give me $1 billion and give me 6 months. I'm sure I can get shit done by my damn self. You know, so if I can do it,
gosh, so much. I think that if they gave the project to a group of dedicated civilians, they would see far more progress done than if they like outsource this to a company or anything like that. I hope they don't hire a private industry to do it and they use the community they have to build the community up.
They should literally just, because the government sucks at this. They suck. So you give it to a proven nonprofit and give them standards to go by, you know, and some check marks.
Tap for Humanity would be a great place to tap right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, they're also, I'm reaching out to Ryan Tanaka, who is the guy that has a channel called Yimby Arts, where it's like, yes, in my backyard instead of not in my backyard for public housing. I'd like to talk to him about this because he knows a whole lot more about the situation in LA. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'm going to invite him on soon if I can get him to respond to learn more about this situation. So there's a big opportunity here for everybody to learn and be inspired by this.
It's a really broad subject with a very like deep and nuanced history too. Like you could spend all day researching the problem there and not even get like past the surface of it.
Yeah. That's why someone like Ryan Tanaka that's dedicated his whole life to the public housing situation in LA, he's a valuable asset. So I think we need to make that connection, you know. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comment section, man. Do you have any ideas or any programs you think would work out better than tiny homes or a large facility? But yeah, leave a comment. Let us know, man. Thanks for joining us and see you guys next time. And like always, yang gang. All right, cool. That's a good subject. That's why I was really disappointed last night. I was like, man, I really want to talk about that one specifically, you know? So I'm glad we got to cover this one. And Ryan Tanaka, he used to do live streams, daily live streams on Twitter.
Oh no, I wanted to the article I specifically used to discuss the we haven't done the basic income one yet.
Yes, the next one.
Okay, good. Because they actually quoted Andrew Yang in it.
Good deal.
I have that down there.
Oh, you made it forward. Yeah. Okay, so let's do 2 more. We're being efficient. I like it. We can knock out 4 of these suckers.
Love you, bud. Sorry, I thought I'd muted.
No, it's okay. It says LA could offer thousands of poor residents $1,000 a month, no questions asked. Okay. $24 million proposal. Is that part of that $1 billion?
I believe it comes from the $1 billion, a portion of it. It's 24 million specifically, but
Okay. All right, let's jump into this one. All right. Bam, what up, Yang Gang? Welcome back. And we're going to be talking about something very near and dear to our hearts. What do you got on us on the low tonight for us, Mia?
Oh gosh, near and dear to our hearts, indeed. Los Angeles could be offering thousands of poor residents $1,000 a month, no questions asked. That's a familiar mantra for anybody who's part of the Yang Gang. What would you do with $1,000 a month?
Yeah, no kidding.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti outlined the $24 million proposal during his annual State of the City address. It's going to involve that was poorly stated. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti outlined the $24 million proposal during his State of the City address. Part of the problem is that over 1 in 5 residents of Los Angeles live in poverty. And boy, I did bad at that.
I think you need to skip over the 1,000 and 2,000 one and go right into the intents to lift up. Yeah.
The order is not right there.
Yeah, just throw it in there when you're ready.
It's gonna think so that I don't distract myself.
Yes.
Repetitive. All right.
There you go.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti outlined the $24 million proposal during his State of the City address. In LA, over 1 in 5 residents live in poverty, and the program intends to lift up the city's poor residents without the bureaucracy of traditional welfare programs. The aid will be directed to families that live at or near the federal poverty line, and Garcetti said the direct help will begin to tear away at poverty in our city and show this nation a way to fulfill Dr. King's call for a basic income once and for all. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny he references Dr. Martin Luther King, because back in the 60s, he advocated for a guaranteed income equivalent to the minimum wage, the median wage, which would be over $30,000 today. That was much more aggressive then. But LA is so expensive. $1,000 a month doesn't even pay rent. So it really won't make that big of a difference proportionally, unless, like, again, you gotta be strategic. I think it make the biggest difference to the homeless people, not just people at the poverty line, homeless. Personally, but yeah, so they're talking about giving people $1,000 annual cash assistance to single parents, a supplemental one.
Yeah, that's a separate local initiative.
Mhm.
So one of the things they're pointing out is that there are a lot of different initiatives going on right now for basic income pilots in LA and San Francisco area. So a lot of these will have extras tossed onto them. If they happen to qualify for both programs, you might get $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
Well, let's get a couple quotes in here. Here's a quote from Andrew Yang himself. He goes, "If Congress had its shit together, we'd all be getting direct recurring payments throughout this pandemic. And something like what we're doing with the 1K project would be less vital." And he says, "In the absence of congressional action, then what we're doing seems even more immediate and vital." And of course, Humanity Forward is a nonprofit by the former presidential candidate, Andrew Yang, who is now running for mayor of New York City. Partnered with the 1K project last August. He announced that during a debate, which was awesome. And he brings $1,000 direct monthly payments every month, not just once a year, for struggling families during the COVID pandemic. So once again, we know the problem with poverty is the lack of money. Simple. Well, then let's address poverty and give people fucking money. Doesn't seem like a stretch or even like a genius move here.
It's not too hard to think of the possible symptoms of poverty. If you
Right.
think of it less as something that a person creates and more as something that is passed around a community due to the conditions that you're in and the way the system is working, then you've got a better chance of being able to solve the problem. And the biggest way to do that is indeed a UBI.
Yeah.
Distribution of resources more evenly amongst your poor.
So people talk about how awful it is in LA. The traffic's awful, blah, blah, blah. It's too crowded or whatever. But could you imagine the transformation LA would go through in just 1 year of there's no more people homeless on the street in 2021. Homelessness doesn't exist in LA, first of all. Second of all, you have these pilot programs that are helping people get out of the homelessness and get them resources to be productive members of society. Hell, they're so you create this network and this foundation, this infrastructure for these people without homes. Now you've created an opportunity to create jobs. They're going to create their transition out of this homelessness creates jobs. People have to build those tiny homes. They have to set up the plumbing, the electric, install the solar panels, install the Wi-Fi, the electricity, everything gets installed. You're creating jobs temporarily, at least for them that are doing all the construction. But I think this should inspire more to do this in other states. And again, you have 66,000 new motivated employees. You're free to sit there and do nothing. You can exist if that's your existence. You can do that, and by do nothing, do whatever the hell you want. Just don't have to participate in the employment model. Just get.
If here's money to get the hell out of the way if you need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also we need to address the mental health crisis in the homeless community, the substance abuse, and the mental abuse that these people, and mental and physical abuse these people go through on the streets, being treated like pariahs their entire existence, or like young men and women that move there with hopes and dreams, and they wind up on the street really quick. So this is a huge thing, huge. I'm very inspired that LA is going to address both these things, homelessness and now a universal basic income programs. And Andrew Yang has shifted at Overton Window. We never heard a damn word about this 2 years ago. So thank you, Andrew Yang.
It's not like I went hunting this specific article for an Andrew Yang quote either.
Right. That's not hard
to be there.
That's the thing. He has become, when you say Medicare for all, people think Bernie. When you say universal basic income, they think Andrew Yang, period.
You need that. You need somebody to like attach an idea to so that way.
Yep.
Like people can relate to it.
Yep. And he's going to address his own way that he can. He can afford in New York City. They have 500,000 people he's going to be helping out if he wins. So I'm looking forward to it, man. LA, help is on the way, I hope. $1 billion is a lot of money. But 66,000 people is a lot of people, man. So I'm looking forward to see how they do that. I'm definitely going to be keeping up on this. And again, I'm going to reach out to Ryan Tanaka to get more information from the ground. I mean, he lives in LA. So, and I had the pleasure of meeting him in person. I was so happy to meet him because he's a specific person that I think is inspiring because he does this out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't have any way to benefit from this. He's just doing it. He believes in it. There's great people in this movement. Selfless people. I like that.
It's amazing.
Yes. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comments section. What do you think? So they have $24 million going to people who living at or below poverty. And what do you think that could be done with that money? Or is there other ways of generating funds? You have any ideas on this? I love it. It's a start. It's a floor for somebody. It's not a floor for the entire community, but it's a floor for somebody. And we just got to keep building floors, and get a base model of what is the absolute necessity for people. But yeah, guys, leave a comment in the comment section. So let us know what you think about that. While you're here, of course, hit that like button and ring the notification bell, subscribe, the whole shebang bang. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. And like always, gang. Okay.
Very good.
I like that one, of course. Oh, yeah, the marijuana one, of course. Yeah. Oh, did I tell you I got some hats? Oh, I did. I told you that last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah. So now the marijuana one. This one's pissing me off. Well, also, so I was wanting to think about something. On the Hill, they do a cool thing where each individual gets to bring up one topic they want to talk about, and you literally can go like this, boop, and then you do your thing, and I can do my thing, and make separate little clips for that. And you can. I was thinking of a title for something like that because on the Hill they call it. What do they call that?
on the radar.
On their radar, right? So I'm trying to think of a tag phrase for us to be like, okay, what's
what's the lowdown?
Yeah, what
I don't know.
I like the idea of bringing your own thing outside of politics or anything you want to talk about. It could be something about your community. It could be something about I don't really have much going on today, really, but yeah, so we could look up things and do one clip of our own thing, and say whoever the hosts are, even the other hosts coming on, say, hey, bring one thing you want to talk about that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about,
The child tax credit thing would kind of be like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I was doing the other day. It's not really a news article, but it's a personal project and something that I want to promote it. So
yeah.
I think that makes sense.
I want to try and play with that idea. I can't think of a name though.
You've got time to think about it.
Yeah. And if you guys are watching this live stream, man, put in the comments. You guys think of a name for these little clips that we could do that goes along with our mantra here, the trickle up, oh, maybe something like what idea do you want to trickle up today? Or something like that, because good ideas should trickle up to more people, but I don't know. Shit. But I'm just chewing on this stuff,
The view from below. I don't know.
Yeah. What's in the gutter?
What's in the gutter? I do like that. I like the sound of that. But I don't think that's that segment.
No. But I'm just trying to think of something that could create different clips and be something more personal. Like for me, it might be more healthcare stuff because of my job. It might be me talking about COVID in Michigan. Shit, we're about to shut down. Our governor's not being as hard stanced on it.
Not since she basically got reprimanded and told to go fuck off.
And almost kidnapped and her life threatened.
I could understand being a little less gung-ho about it when your own citizens are plotting your death.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, there's got to be something or someone. What if we did like a Yang Gang highlight or a activist highlight, or like who do you want to highlight today that people are doing cool things, be it in Humanity Forward or be it in
there's Income Movement, there's Tom from Of the People,
but I want to elevate individuals one at a time and focus on that person. Say this person's doing great things. Check out what they've done. Here's their Twitter. You know what I mean? Like I would like to do that type of thing. Who do you want to highlight today? Or
I would recommend starting sometime with Kim Woods.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Kim Woods, and you've got
Yenny.
Yeah, there's lots of people. Especially when the midterms start coming around, we can start highlighting candidates.
Of course, Erica and Reverend Wendy.
Yeah. They were on Yang Speaks. That was pretty cool. Because I actually interviewed them both together, back in February or March, I think it was. I actually interviewed them both at the same time too. And now I see them on Yang Speaks. I'm like, man, how fucking awesome is that?
We've had them on the round table. It's really good to see them.
Hell yeah.
Getting the attention that they need for their runs and deserve for their work.
You're damn right. But yeah, so let's see here. Florida Supreme Court won't let voters legalize marijuana. Okay, yeah. All right, you ready? One more. Bam. What up, Yang Gang? Welcome back to the Trickle Up, and me are at it again, of course. And so what do you got on us on the low today, Mia?
All right. Well, next up, we're going to be talking about how the Florida Supreme Court won't let voters legalize recreational marijuana, in spite of the fact that the state has voted to have it put onto the ballot. The Florida Supreme Court concluded that the state's voters could not enact a ballot initiative that would legalize recreational marijuana in a 5-2 vote, and they tossed the initiative out. This effectively denies Florida residents the opportunity to vote on the measure. The majority asserted that the ballot summary implies that the initiative will somehow legalize marijuana under federal law, rendering it affirmatively misleading, which if you are somebody who smokes pot, I'm fairly certain you understand that distinction and that they might be underestimating your intelligence.
I don't. So the people of Florida voted to put this on the ballot, and they want to pass it, and then they took it to the Supreme Court to squash it. So literally, your representatives that you've elected in Florida are working against your own personal best interests, your own personal desires, your own views are being silenced by your elected officials and your Supreme Court. Doesn't seem very constitutional. Of course, it's Florida. Shit, man. I don't know. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. And it says, as of Thursday, the initiative sponsor had raised $8.2 million and collected more than 556,000 signatures out of the 891,000 needed to get on the ballot in 2022. So they've already raised enough that's damn near 2/3 of the way there. In 2016, Floridians legalized medical marijuana through a ballot initiative amending the state constitution that passed with more than 71% of the vote. 71%, 2/3 damn near. Or 3/4, I mean. And it said Governor Rick Scott, that piece of shit, attempted to limit the law by restricting limited qualifying conditions for the drug and banning smokable marijuana. What the fuck? What's the point?
Well, you've got dabs and edibles and tinctures and things that are more high concentrated, which you could argue that the potency level is a more medical grade. So I think that what he was trying to do was say, well, if you're smoking marijuana, you're having it recreationally, you're not having it medically. So that's what the argument was.
Well, the problem is his argument is sucked so bad that even the courts blocked the ban. And a legislator actually appealed it. And
that being even THC that is not refined is medically viable, like high enough concentration. So that was bullshit.
Right, and they want to talk about freedoms and then have them restricted, even when you vote on it.
And yet at the same time, we've got an entire class of fake drugs that are allowed to be peddled without any sort of FDA intervention, being sold at like GNC and that sort of thing, with legitimate poisons that kill people being found in them sometimes, and contaminated results.
Yeah, or even like they're okay with people selling you snake oil, but not an actual treatment, not a real treatment.
How dare it have an actual effect that you can, tell is working?
They'd rather you take opioids than medical marijuana. You know?
That's the rub there.
So here we go, guys. We have people that are elected to represent you and to represent your vote. And then to have it 71% of the people pass recreational marijuana, and then to have the governor try to overrule your vote. It is your vote, and they want to overrule. I know better than you do, type of thing, man. And now they got DeSantis in there. He's a psychopath too. So the people voted for it. This is how backwards Florida is, guys. No shade on Florida, which this is actual shade, but it is what it is.
Shade on the government, not on the people.
Yes. So no. This is about the voters of Florida. The voters of Florida overwhelmingly chose to nominate Donald Trump for president. At the same time, they voted to pass $15 minimum wage in the state. So
that's very confusing.
In the same election, the same ballot, they check yes for $15 minimum wage and vote for Trump. That shows how fucking stupid some people are. They vote against their own interests in the president. They vote against their own interests.
I don't mean to be like, I like giving the full picture of things, right? So what you're really talking about is there was an overlap. Some people who supported a minimum wage and voted for the minimum wage hike also voted for Donald Trump. The actual overlap there, you've got Democrats. It just needs to be enough to swing it to a majority. So if there were a majority of them were Democrats and a few Trump voters went over and said, okay, yeah, for that. So the reality is it's more of a overlap window where there's some people who supported Trump and also support marijuana, but it's probably still mostly a left heavy vote. Yeah,
but I mean, that means that let's say, I think it passed by like 20% too. Like it passed. So it had to pass. It had to get like 40% of Republicans to vote for it to pass by 20.
Yeah, it is a good overlap.
Damn near half of these Republicans that voted for Trump also know that he's wrong about minimum wage, that they deserve it, but the rest of the country doesn't deserve it. That's odd, and it's inconsistent.
Well, consistency has never been something that I think that the more extreme sides of either party is good at, right? Because you have to have like conflicting ideologies to be willing to go to extreme ends on things usually. Like you could be like anti-violence, but if you say, but at the same time, it's okay to do this, you've got a conflicting
Yeah. Or if you say, yeah, I'm against Asian violence, but then you go to Facebook and Twitter and you're saying some hateful speech about the virus. Well, this is China virus, all that bullshit. Again, practice what you preach there, Reverend in Florida. But Florida's always been known to be a nut house, really. They always fuck up elections, the hanging chads. Oh God. And they elect idiots.
I have to believe that some of that has to do with probably the way it's gerrymandered down there. That
Well, and it's geriatric representation. That's where most retirees go. These bunch of old racist fucks go down there to live their life of luxury and live in a trailer the rest of their life and just kick ass. Like, oh, I made all the money I wanted. I'm gonna go live in a trailer park, a retirement community. That's what people I know do that. My ex-in-laws and shit. They go down there, live in a trailer park, and they have a bass boat and they don't give a shit. Like they're good to go. But that's what Florida is. It's a major hub. I would like to see a statistic on that. Like, what's the average age of the country versus the state, and which state has the oldest communities versus youngest communities? I've seen something on it.
would that make Florida like the first echo chamber, but an echo chamber of old people?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's mostly older people.
Like, I just want to like point out like the existence of echo chambers was more communable for, but it was there before. It's not like social media invented that idea. Usually we do self-segregate ourselves into groups that are affirming our own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just normal human nature. It's not new, that part. Just on the subject.
And don't forget, there's a huge push on social media and YouTube or whatever you want to call it, where there is this one trailer park in Florida where it's like one of the biggest retirement community trailer homes parks that they had the Trump parades. And then all the Democrat old people got out their golf carts and put Joe Biden parades. I'm just like, oh, for crying out loud.
I read that article.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't necessarily the same article, but I read an article about that. It was interesting.
Yeah. And so Florida is a weird place. It just is. It's a weird place with extremes. And they vote against their own self-interest, apparently. So much so they'd rather have Donald Trump than Bernie, who wants a $15 an hour job, $15 an hour minimum wage, and healthcare.
Yeah, that's an issue that has a lot more to do with they wanted a personality that they could post up there, right? It's not really about his policies. One thing I want to do, or I would like to see in the future, the distant future, I'm not planning on throwing a revolution to get it to happen, but it would be great if instead of voting on people, we were voting on platforms. And I think we don't need to have necessarily a president for that. We could have a leader of the party who does the role of president. But, I think we need to stop selling ideas through people and start selling the ideas and then a person.
I think it'd be cool if we could go back and say, okay, let's do an election. We're not going to tell you what election cycle it is. We're not going to tell you what position it is. We're not going to tell you if it's president. We're not going to tell you if it's the mayor or governor or whatever, Senate. We're going to show you their platforms and all their competition and no names, just their platforms. And then you vote.
I think
and tell me who you would have voted for the Attorney General of Michigan, according to their policies,
I love that, a no-name ballot, where it's a policy so that you actually have to compare what their plans are, not how good they talk.
Well, there's actually a Twitter thread I started where I took this political test. It's like 116 questions. I have to find that. It's here. Let me try and find it on my Twitter page. I'll show you guys. I'll share that link actually too. It tells you just answer questions. You don't get to know what the answers mean. They correlate them and tell you what on the spectrum where you fall in at, right? Let me go back to my own profile. And I'll have to find it. I should have pinned it.
My son does a lot of those political profile measurement things. He likes to do it like once or twice a year. And he's been showing me over the past 3 years or 4 years as he's been slowly moving further and further extreme left.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, you'll be so proud of me. I'm even further left on the chart. I'm like, oh, that's my boy.
Let's see here. Oh, man. No, that's Scott Santon's one. Here, I'll just pull this. You guys can see kind of what I'm stringing through here. This is all this shit on my timeline. Reverend Wendy Hamilton, what up? This TikTok. Oh man. Let's see here. Should be an image. There it is. Okay. So I took the test, and this is where I fall. This is my political, I guess you say your ideology. Oh, stop it. Sorry, guys. This thing is lagging. But yeah, so it says, what? Where'd it go?
It's running from you, boys.
I know it's jumping around. Dang it. What happened? There it is. Okay. So yeah, it just shows that my results makes me, oh shit. Equality, justice, and humanity. And it says I'm 69% constructivism versus 17% essentialism. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Oh shit. See? Damn it. Sorry. There it is. And then I have 62% rehabilitative justice versus punitive justice, 14%. I'm 74% progressive, 14% conservative, and 12% whatever. And then internationalism, it's pretty much 50 and only whatever that is left over, like a few percent for nationalism. 50% communism, 17% capitalism, and 30% whatever the hell that means.
I think that's probably moderate. Like
Right. Yeah. And then I'm 76, 2/3 or 3/4 for regulation, and then 12% laissez-faire, which means unfettered capitalism. Now here's the funny ones. Ecology versus production, 40, 23, 36 is pretty close to being an even split. And then revolution versus reform, I'm kind of a split there too. It's like 2/3. But it's a pretty cool little test I took. Let me see if I can find the link for it.
If I'm looking at those splits,
yeah,
I actually think that those are pretty, like if I had to divide up our resources into things, because I think we need all three of those things on that bottom one in a specific balance. I think that would be an appropriate balance to break them up into. Like if we had like a 100% budget and we were divided up, it'd be like a third this, a quarter that. And
right. So I'm trying to find the link to it though. I thought I had the link in there for it. Let's see here to the actual thing.
Ooh, you got it from Cabrosis?
Yeah, so other people took it too. Yeah. You can kind of see where everybody falls on their own scale, you know. Trumper's in here somewhere. And then Faye says, check out communism. I'll never be for communism. I just won't. Yeah, she asked for the link. I know I put it in here somewhere.
I have said it before, aspects of everything. There's a little bit of good in each idea. We have to find the good in it and get rid of the shitty stuff and then combine it together and make a cake out of it. None will be delicious.
I can't remember what this thing was called, though. Damn it. Oh, here it is. That tells you right there. That's it. Okay, so let me see if I can find that. It says dbhq.github.io. Let's see if that helps me out here. Okay, there's these other people's. There it is. Okay, that helps.
I'll take the quiz and then come back and compare my results to yours later. Like as a.
Let me copy and paste that, and I'll put that in here. There we go, guys. That's what I was wanting to do. That took me forever. So there it is. That's the scale. You can take the test. I'll put a tweet out about this when we get done, and see you guys all. I would love to see is everyone submit, and I would love to do like a collective type of thing, and average it out and say, okay, where are we at? I'd love to get like 100 people to do this. That'd be cool.
That would be great.
Yeah, and see where do we all fall. You know, between all of our own percentages, what's the averages on all of them? Because Trumper did one that he says, I guess I'm a whatever, a progressive or something. Trumper tagged me in that shit, man. I can't find it. But yeah, he's good people. He said something like, he goes, "Oh, I guess I'm a communist now," because it showed him it being at 50% communism, like I was. Um, no, not that wasn't communism. No, it was progressive, but then his capitalist one was off the scales, like 85% capitalism, but still progressive in some other ways. But
You know,
that shows the diversity of us, though, as a collective. We're all very diverse.
yeah. And finding a balance is about that too. Like
Yep.
we don't want everybody to have the same idea of what works because we're trying to find like a mean that works for everyone.
Yeah.
So when we're trying to find the mean of something, we do want all these varied ideas.
Yes.
So that way we can like find solutions for this problem and that problem. It's like beta testing, right? You just
Right.
run into the problems as you get them.
Well, and there's no purity test. Even UBI should not be a purity test because the $1,000 a month, I don't think is even good enough anymore.
No.
Even Andrew said that too. I would like to talk to Scott Santons about that too. I think I might reach out to him, bring him on as a guest to talk about if he could rewrite Andrew's policy, if he's going to run in 2024, what number would he say now after this pandemic?
Well, in fairness, Scott Santons has always endorsed a larger UBI than Andrew Yang has, I believe. I think his plan is 2,500 maybe even?
I don't know. I just know that he was the one that helped Andrew actually write the policy.
Yeah, his own plan is a little different than Andrew's, so it would be interesting to discuss the differences. It's been a while.
Andrew's a flat one, $1,000 adult, period. But I think Scott has one that includes kids, more like Joe Biden's doing with like a child tax credit type of thing.
Yep.
I think his is wind up being like, if it's a family with a baby, I think it is $2,500, $1,000 per adult, and the kid is another $500, I believe. I could be wrong. Again, guys, I'm gonna reach out to Scott Santons, bring him on. That'd be a great. I love talking to Scott, man. The guys.
Oh God, I would die for a UBI. I wouldn't die for a UBI. I would die for everybody else to get a UBI, but it would be kind of important for me to die for my own UBI.
Well, then die without it.
Yeah, I'll die without it.
More likely to die without it than with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, especially in your house. You know, if you have a large family, that would be a game changer. Like I have a couple of my buddies that are Hispanic over in Hartford I went to school with. It's him and his mom. His mom and dad have a house. Then his sister lives. What it is, they all got a big ass house together now. A big house where all of them just stay there. It's like a community home, and so it's like a 6-bedroom, 4-bath home. And they all said, well, instead of us all buying little shitty places, let's buy one big one because they're all about family. They always get together and eat anyway, regularly. So they said we want to take care of our mom and dad. Don't want them to struggle. They're trying to retire, so all the kids chipped in and bought one house together and take care of their mom and dad, which I 100% love it because they're 100% family. My buddy Manuel.
Well, multi-generational homes are a lot more common in every other country.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like, so you have my buddy Manuel, his mom and dad, his sister, and his 2 other brothers. So that's 6 people, and plus his nephews live there. So it's at least 6, if not 8. That's $6,000. Let's just say $6,000 a month is paying for that entire house. Everything, all your bills are paid for. Everything.
My bills are paid for plus $4,000.
Yeah, but I mean, like for their house, that's a big ass house. That'd pay for all the food, all the electric, Wi-Fi, taxes, maintenance of the property with like snow plowing and lawn care.
Upgrades, man.
Yeah, everything. Fix the windows, put a new roof on someday. You have the savings account because of that stuff, $6,000 a month. And then your mom and dad can retire with dignity, and they get their, because that's the whole point of Social Security, is to be supplemental. So they could literally live off their Social Security if they had all their basic needs met. That's like a UBI for them if they had no bills. You know, if you have your $800 or $1,200, $1,400, whatever it is, right? They can make it and actually survive and flourish and be able to buy their kids gifts for Christmas or whatever the hell, go on a vacation, buy new clothes. Who cares? Whatever's important to you. But yeah,
we are a nation way too dedicated to work. And I think that some people need to take a few steps back and not be so stressed out about the idea of people having some fun with some money. Don't be so stressed out about that. I mean, why? Why are you so stressed out about the idea of somebody blowing off some steam and maybe being less likely to pop?
Yeah.
We're all on edge.
Mental health would be significantly affected.
Why send people to therapy when it's way more conducive to send them on a vacation?
Well, think about this. Just for parents, with young adults. I have 2 kids that are over 18. If they got $1,000 a month right now, he's in college. My daughter's in high school. She just turned 18 this year. She'd be able to save up for a brand new car. Literally, she could buy cash for a car in a year.
Oh yeah.
10 grand. And plus she has a job. She's already got a couple $1,000s saved up. All 4 of my kids got jobs, man. They work. They're hard workers. They know we ain't gonna give it to them. So, but yeah, man, I'd love this idea. But yeah, I think everybody should take this political test, man. I'm gonna put a Twitter thread and I'm gonna tag as many people as I can. You can too. We'll tag everybody in the round table and the trickle up in all of our different groups. I want to get as many people as possible and kind of correlate that information and create like an average. And what's our scale? Like, what's the highest we have someone on each one? What's the lowest on each scale? Then what's the mean? What's the average? As a group, who are we collectively as an average too? I'm very interested in this.
I am going to personally skew the test very far left. So
yeah. And there's always a skew far right. Yeah.
Hope that a couple more people sign up on like the other end to balance me out.
That's okay. But you'd be surprised by the questions, you know. But yeah, we'll see. Let me see. What were we discussing before I got on my bullshit tangent here? So Supreme Court, right? Yeah. Legal marijuana. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that. And fuck all. Let me start over. You started smiling. I started laughing.
I just was enjoying that we like got so sidetracked that like we were nowhere near that. It made me laugh.
No, I don't know how we got there. You'd have to go back and listen. At least that's documented.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that Florida needs to have a revolution politically too. I don't care if it goes to Democrats. They need to just be represented properly and accurately. If you're leaning Republican state, be Republican, but have your people account to what you put on the ballot initiatives, a direct access initiative.
And it would be really great if Republicans would stick by some of their things and honor the votes that happened that aren't for them, because the idea was you told us that we would have to accept Donald Trump if he was president, you know, because that's the way the law was. Well, the law here was supposed to be marijuana is now legal recreationally. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It doesn't matter what side you personally are on. You should be upset that that happened.
Yeah.
Even if you think marijuana is terrible, if you believe in our system, you should believe that that should have been on the ballot.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's not like they said we want all recreational marijuana to be recreational for only Democrats. It's for everyone. No one's forcing you to smoke it. No one's forcing you to eat it. You have the freedom to not participate. It's okay. I live in Michigan. I can't fuck with it because of my job. But if we get it off the federal registry, then I could. Please. Joe Biden, hi. I would love to never drink another beer. Just eat a gummy and have a brownie, call it a night. You know, I'd love to do that. I would sleep so much better. The edibles just, go night-night. Just chill. 10 milligrams. Good to go, man.
Nothing's better than a Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to have access to that and not be risking my employment and my career over it, you know. But that's the choice they make us. That's the choice they force us to make, though. Like, if I suffer from sleep, like I have a terrible sleep cycle, I can go get on Eliquis. I can go get on the other one that puts you under and you make weird tweets, apparently. Ask Roseanne Barr. Oh, man. But, like, I would like the access to that option. Would you rather me go out and get drunk and come to work with a hangover? Or would you rather me just eat a brownie, kick rocks, call it a night, and then wake up tomorrow fresh? Fresh. Brownie fresh instead of downy fresh, you know.
Also, I very rarely see people like building up a tolerance to alcohol, but you can build up a tolerance to pot and be functional while on it if you use it frequently.
You can build up a tolerance to alcohol in a way.
In a way, it's not the same as the tolerance you build. Let me put it that way.
No, it's actually got more to do with like fat. in your body because it does get stored in your fat cells. But anyway, that's a side subject. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kill this thing. What was he doing? Oh yeah, marijuana. Back to that. Okay. So let us know what you guys think about that in the comment section. While you're here, of course, give the video a like, hit the subscribe button if you've done it before, ring that notification bell for alerts for upcoming videos like this. And thanks for supporting the Trickle Up and the Low here with me and Mia, and our other guests are coming up. On Sunday, we have a special guest coming on. Her name is Vivian. She is she's a New Yorker in Brooklyn. She has a podcast that her and her partner do, and we're going to talk about that on Sunday night. So be looking forward to talking to her. And thanks for joining us, guys. See you guys next time. And like always, yank. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking to Nell on Sunday too, on his My Creative Workshop.
Oh, so, yes, cool. Make sure you share that on Twitter. Then we'll check that out.
Yep, definitely. But right. Check that out. All right.
Yes. So let's do that again. Thanks for joining us, and see you guys next time. And like always, yang gang. We'll have to chop that back together.
Sorry about that. I wanted to slip it in.
I like multiple takes. It flex my editing skills, you know. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us, man. I'm gonna go do some editing this weekend, and I'll put some more videos out, man. And we'll talk to you guys on Sunday live once again. And take the test. I'm gonna tag who we got here. We got Paul. I'm gonna tag you. Elizabeth, I'm gonna tag you. I think you already did it, Elizabeth. But I'm gonna tag some of you guys directly in the thread, and then you guys make sure you take the test and then share it in that thread. And I want to take all those together and send it to many people as you know too. And I want to get as many people as we can, and we're gonna correlate that information and show the range and then the averages. That'd be a fun little project to do. I'm creating more work for myself, but it's still fun. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys later.